welcome to my channel. Now, what I have here are some of my what I call thrower flashlights. They're more like mostly spot, but they can be combination, flood and spot. And basically, most of the time, what I find that I like is the SFT40 or SST40 type emitter. You can't really see it in this one. It's got a TIR. This one's different because it's the new little Chinese one. This is the Wurkkos TS12. But it's the same emitter that you find in the Wurkkos FC12. And each of these flashlights, you know, have different things to offer and everything. But here's the Wurkkos TD01C that I just got in. This is the TD02. No, this is the 3. I can tell from the tail cap. This is the 3, this is the 2. There we go. This is the 4, which I recently got in. Would you put them upright so people can read? There we go. And of course, we already talked about the 12. This is the Sofrin IF22A. Up until this point, this has been my biggest, you know, longest range type of thrower or anything. A good close follow-up or a good one that I use a lot, mostly though, is the TS11. I've got a 18650 tube on them. It usually is a little bit more like this guy's size. Alright, so now what I wanted to talk about is, you know, I'll do beam patterns later on, but right now it's freezing cold outside, literally freezing cold. And even going out on the balcony, I have to unseal the balcony door, and I've got it pretty much sealed against the wind and the cold and all that other stuff. And so that's not going to happen right now, but I figure I can go over some of the basic, you know, first impressions and everything, and some indoor, you know, shine on the wall type of spots to show you the different patterns. It'd take a while to put all these up there, but I'll just put them on, each one on high or turbo or whatever. But something I noticed in here that I just wanted to show you, though, from the manual. See, this is the 1 and the 1C manual. And what you've got up here, let me see if I can get this. You see you have TD01 and 01C. And looking at these two charts, it's pretty interesting. It's basically saying that the 01 model is going to have 2,000 lumens, 2,200 lumens. It's going to last 2.5 hours, and it's going to go 1,039 meters. This one's only going to go 1,000 meters in turbo, and it's only going to have 1,800 lumens, and it's only going to last 2 hours. But from what I've seen of people, you know, testing these, because the one came out first, and people tested it a lot, like months ago, and put up videos. And the turbo would step down pretty quickly. So, you know, these numbers right here, even if they're accurate, which, you know, I'm just going to do it as a given that the factory is pretty close to this, you know, as being accurate. If that doesn't last 2.5 hours and steps down, they should do like Olight does theirs, where it's kind of complicated, but it says, all right, it's going to last this long at 2,000 lumens. Then it's going to drop down to 1,000 lumens or whatever, you know, and it's going to last maybe this long. And then, you know, they're going to give you the whole progression. So you got to keep that in mind. Like I said, I haven't gone out there and spotlighted or whatever else, but this one seems to hold turbo for a lot longer than that one does, even though it doesn't show it on the chart. All right, what else have we got here? Also, they incorporated a Moonlight, a 1 lumen mode. You don't get that with the 01. I think that is a good advantage right there. That makes a big difference. You know, they don't give you a lot of distance, but you can get at least 2 or 3 meters off that easy with one lumen if there's no other light around, because a spotlight gives you a nice little circle. If you had one lumen coming out of a floodlight, yeah, you'd only be able to go maybe here to the, you know, these flashlights and be able to recognize anything that much. But with a floodlight type pattern, man, you can go across the room with one of those and see stuff. And, you know, it's not going to, it's a spotlight. All right, 4 degrees of throw, 53 degrees for flood. Same optics. That's a tight little circle there, 4 degrees. We'll show it later on. Yeah, and everything else is, you know, pretty much, you're getting less lumens on high, and it lasts less. This is kind of confusing to me, you know, but you never know how the drivers are on these that regulate this. See, here at 350 lumens, they get 9 hours. And here, 350 lumens, they get 6.5 hours. Well, they're both 5,000 milliamp battery, you know, and they're both the same flashlight. I know they did the driver different on this, so maybe that affected the medium lumens. I don't know. See, they keep them the same on 150s. Both are 15 hours. And then 30 lumens, they get 70 hours on this one. And here, 30 lumens, they only get 50 hours. But anyway, that's all I can see, you know, from that, out of that. Okay, let's see. Basically, you've got a SFT40, 6000. Oh, something else I want to tell you about on these that maybe you knew or didn't know, but I just kind of figured out. You see, let me get this up here where it'll focus. You see these numbers here? Well, I knew at the last that this is the tint that you're going to get. This one's like 6,500K. Guess what that number is? It's a year of manufacture. I figured that out. It's on. Maybe everybody knew that, you know, but I just figured it out. See, 23. This was made in 2023. Doesn't give you the whole, you know, year of manufacture, but I just figured that out. See, 23. And if you look at this one over here, 22. So that's kind of nice. You can just look at your flashlight and see how old it is just by looking at the model number. That comes in handy. It works on the Sofrin flashlights also. This one's going to be kind of hard to read. SP22. So, let's throw that in there. See, 23. So that, you know, to me that comes in handy because I knew that, you know, like this stood for Wurkkos. These other numbers, I was like, maybe this is a product number. I don't know. But these last numbers are important, and you know what you can do with them. You know, you know how to use them. I didn't mean to put it that way. You know what you can do with these numbers. But this one's informative too. That's pretty interesting. So there you go. Maybe everybody knew that, but I mean that's the first time I figured that out. All right, the big difference in this one is the head size. Look at this, man. It's the biggest head around. Here's a IF22A Sofrin in comparison. I mean, here's the IF11. I mean the TS11. Here's that little mini TS12, yeah. And then a standard 18650 size. See, that's what I like about this. That's what I like about the FC12. If you want a compact spotlight thrower that doesn't have a huge head, I mean, yeah, it's got a little bit, but this is it. This one gives an excellent beam pattern. This one does too. I mean, this is good, but it's starting to get, You don't get a pocket clip or space to put on it because really, this thing's going to be gouging you if it's in your pocket, you know. You can carry them with a holster and everything, and I've got a holster that has that, but I mean, really, this is going to be more of a I put a pocket clip on this one, even though I don't think it came with one. I put a pocket clip on it because I can carry this. It's not that head doesn't stick out that much. Same with this guy. I can do it. You know, you can carry it head up or head down. This one, I like it. I like the machining and everything of it. It's just, it's definitely a dedicated type of thing, you know. You're going to take it out when you want to spotlight stuff. And if you get into that category, you might as well have the big Pepsi can, you know, the big soda can size battery ones for even more time, and get a bigger head and, you know, like a handle and a strap. You can get as big as you want when you start getting beyond what I consider like practical carry range, you know, like these, a lot of times these 21700s are pushing it for a lot of people, but really, man, like the TD04, man, I love this light. It's pretty simple. Come on, I got momentary on. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt that it incorporates, you know, two different ones, but still, it's the same with this. You turn it on with this. You can get turbo out of this one here, and it's got a tactical mode you can get into where you have, it comes on in turbo, and strobe is easy to get to. I'm not going to go over everything, you know, on this one because I just got out. Just telling you, this is just like initial impressions and everything. I'll put links to other videos where they do like a full review if you're eager for that and stuff. It won't tail stand because, you know, this is proud to begin with, and it's just the way this thing is balanced, you know. I mean, it's top heavy. It will stand like this perfectly fine, and it won't get knocked over. So there's no magnet back here. This switch, even though it's big, if you look at, this is an 18650 size with a protected one. You've got more room, even though this is wider and easier to get. Is this an 18650? Make sure. Yeah. Even though it's wider and everything, this one's different, you know. And to get to strobe, you don't have to click it. You don't even have to pulse it. You can just two fast pushes on the tail switch like that. Let me get it where you can see the tail cap. Just that far, without even, you know, having to engage. And then you push enough to engage, and you'll get turbo. So you got instant access to turbo on this. And if you want turbo, you just latch it into it. If you want whatever your last memorized memory mode was, if you're in that particular setting, it'll go to that, and then you can just switch to the different settings this way. Now, Moonlight is accessed by holding down this one and this one at the same time. And look at that. See? Even with this light on. I got all kinds of ambient light and stuff. That's useful. A Moonlight is useful. And you got crenulations there if you want to crenulate something. Yeah, so far using this one, I like it, but like I said, I don't pack it around with me. If I go out, I'll carry it, you know, like to go dump trash or something like that. But like I said, it's been very cold. Now, all next week it's going to be rain, but it's going to warm up, and I've got rain gear, so I'll go out and I'll do beam shots in the rain with some of these and stuff. But anyway, that's the different physical appearance, I guess, of the different. I'm going to put them in proper sequence here. This is 2. See, this one has a TIR type of lens. It has a TIR type of lens. combined with like a deep, you know, focus. This one has a orange peel reflector, but a deep thing. This one's another TIR with a smooth reflector. I like the beam pattern on this one really well, the TD03. Because it gives you a nice little spot, but also a useful flood. All right, so that's 3 and 4. All right, let's get down here where we can see them. Drop test. FC13 just did a 1 meter drop test. Works fine. See, like this one, it came with 2 different type of emitters. It came with one that produced, you know, mostly a flood, and then this one that produces a spot. And then you can turbo it, and pow, 3,000. My palm's getting hot. So, yeah, even though these little tiny guys will put out a lot of light. All right, so let's get you all head first here. Everybody head first. Get back, Pappy. Quit it. Quit fighting, you guys over there. They're fighting. He's on strobe, but that's okay. All right, so let's get down to where we can see this. And as you can see, if you want to reach out, you don't necessarily need a big head. I mean, yeah, eventually that's going to really come in handy. But like I said, check out the FC12, man. This thing, it has a, let me put it back in the cradle here so we can see. And turn it down to a usable light instead of blinding everybody. It has this nice kind of like overall, you know, like spot flood, but it concentrates a lot on the spot, but not so much. Some of these, when you go into spot, that's pretty much all you get is a spot. You don't get any. I think I switched that one. My palm's getting hot. Let me turn it down low where you can actually see it. You see that? There's not a whole lot of flood going on. It's pretty much just a spot. But that concentrates all your lumens on what you want, you know, I guess, a spot. Now, this is the kind of the same way with the TS11. Now with this guy, let's see what I got him on. I got him on moon or low. With this guy, you can see him actually see the emitter there, right? It gets right in focus. There's kind of a usable flood, but again, it's mostly just for. It's mostly putting everything into a beam, you know, circle spotlight, like you would expect. I never noticed that in that camera. Look at that. You can make it appear and disappear. See, there's a little ring there on the outer side of that little corona. When you go to turbo on this thing, there's a definite ring that can be seen, a visible. It's not bad, but it just like lets you know what the limit of the flashlight is. It may be a reflection of this that you see, but there's just a little pencil thin ring around there. Anyway, like I said, I'll do the beam patterns and everything later on, but out of the 4 so far, the TD03, even though it's got the funky, you know, magnetic thing, I like that. And the TD04, my favorite. This is a 21700, and it has kind of a, it has a combination. It has a combination spot, flood, and I like that for like general use. Also, because it's 21700, you can get a higher output usable light that won't drain your battery and won't get hot, you know. some of these 18650s, you start trying to push them up in there, they're gonna get hot. You know, like this one goes to turbo right here. Here's turbo. Wham. But it again, ow, ow, ow. It again, oh yeah, you do this from the tail switch here. You change the light output from the tail switch. It's like the FC12 on its little pattern there. Look at me yammering away. It's been 20 minutes. That's why I say I have to do these in phases and everything, and separate and all that. But what I've done is I just basically kept all these together, and I'd appreciate it if they could put, you know, like the lumen chart on the outside, but yeah, it's probably asking too much. You know, what I a lot of times will do is if it can just be flipped over, even if it's in a different language, you know, I'll use that. So the O2 is an 18650, and the highest you're going to get is 2,000 lumens on turbo, but you're going to basically run high at, you know, like, I look at lumens and runtime, and then I take this with a grain of salt on lumens on these. I know that if it's that, it's not going to be that forever, unless I've seen it actually tested like that. But the O3 has a lot of throw. I also look for like distance. You can kind of get an idea, and if they have if they list the, see, 9 degrees for throw, 66 for flood, the O3, and so you can go 353 meters on turbo. More realistically, you do this, but that's available. You know, who knows for how long. The 4, almost the same amount for a lot longer. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at charts and everything. You kind of figure out some of this stuff without having to test it and everything. See, 254 meters. I don't have the little TS12. That guy goes out pretty far too. The TD01. You know, what do we got? 1,039 meters. How can that be? Oh, this is 1C. I was gonna say, what? See, that was in a different language, and they did the chart differently. See, the 1 is up on top here, and the 1C is down there. And in this language, the 1C is on top, and the 1. Yeah, easy to get confused in this. Yeah, so I'm getting 1,000 meters basically off the one that I have, up to 1,000 meters. Hey, I think that's more than the TS11 or the IF22. I think it's more than these two guys. And both of these and this little, he doesn't have as much, you know, runtime and everything. This little sucker will get out there. All right, quit yammering, quit your yammering. All right, so there you go. That's just my little first impressions of the flashlight and everything. And even though it has a 21700, it just seems to be more head heavy. It just seems to be a little bit more heavy on this flashlight. More noticeable, bulkier than other comparable, like these are 21700 flashlights. And look at them, you know, compare. Yeah, get knocked over. We don't care. And look at them compared to that. You know, get your lanyard out of the way. Would you quit lanyarding everybody? There you go. So yeah, I hope you found that interesting or useful, or if not useful, entertaining or confusing. Unconfusing, I mean. Because, you know, this stuff can get confusing and using different user interfaces. But I do like tail switches. I just wish that you could incorporate everything into a tail switch if you're going to use a tail switch, you know. They do that on the 04 right here. They get this flashlight to do everything with the tail switch. Now, I like an E type of tail switch. I don't have one over here, do I? No, I don't. Yeah, look at that. Bear trap, bear trap. It's getting wild here. I've got one on me. There. I like this type of switch, man. It's just no rubber to wear out. It's not sticking up way up. It's positive. And you can do everything. Android 2 in this sucker, you can do everything you want to do with it. And then some. Could be a party favorite. With these other poor, boring tactical flashlights, you're not going to impress your enemies with all the little features other than strobe or something like that. So, there you go. Thank you for watching this weird episode. Stay tuned. I'll have maybe some rain shot beam shots later on. So, thank you for watching and have a nice day.